Hi everybody, welcome back to another video of our fighting game course. Today we're gonna still be working on our hit system. So we're gonna add a blocking state where you can like block the hits, and also we're gonna add some special effects to the hit, like knocking the opponent up or knocking it backwards, and stuff like that. So before we actually do any of that, there are small things that we need to fix. Well, let's start by so let's go to our player object, right? Where is it? Uh, okay. So in the collision with the hit, um, I think that we need to decrease the jump force a little bit here. So I'm gonna divide it by 2, okay, so that we don't like knock it up too much. The other thing is that if we were already in the hurt state, I want to refresh this animation. So I'm gonna reset the image index to 0. Okay. The last thing that we need to fix is the health bar, because we were drawing it like let me show you something. The health bar. So this is like the complete width and height of it, right? So this height and the complete width. Now when we start like receiving damage, the script will like draw the sprite from here to about here, which still doesn't affect our like health bar scale at all. So it looks like as if we were not taking any damage. So what I want you to do is to duplicate this. So let's duplicate it, okay? And let's name this second one to SPRHP. Let's call it fill. Alright, now I want you to delete this first image, okay? Just delete it. Yes, and let's go and edit this image. So all you need to do here is take this image and crop it. Alright, just like that. So go to image and crop all frames to selection. That's pretty simple. Now make sure that it is top lefted. Okay, now feel free to remove this second frame from here. Alright, and change the origin to about here. Okay, so now when we draw the health bar, we're gonna draw the fill sprite starting from here to here, and it's gonna like show us the exact amount of HP that we have. So all we need to do now is update our render HP script, and basically all we have to do is change this to HP fill. Okay, also we need to change this to HP fill, same thing here, and this to HP fill. Pretty simple, right? Now let me run the game one more time to see what do we have, and yeah. Alright, so let's take a look. Let's pick the characters. Now when I hit the opponent, I should see its HP getting decreased, right? Kind of. I think we still need to well, we need to remove this as well. Let me see. So let's edit the image and remove this completely. Am I removing it or? Okay, just like that. And oops, no. Okay. And I think we need to maybe make this a little bit higher, like around here or something. Yeah, let me double check this. Oh, yeah, messed up a little bit, so make sure to not leave any white space here. So let's select it again. Yeah, just like that. Now do the same thing, crop all frames to selection, and that's pretty much it. Okay, So now let's start adding our block state. So in order to do that, well, obviously we're gonna need another state, and we're gonna call it macro state block or guard, whatever you want to name it. Okay, give it an ID. Now, so when do we want to block a hit? Well, we're gonna use like the same style that every fighting game uses. So if you press like the backward key while the opponent is attacking, you wanna block the hit. Now, as you guys know, there are two types of hit. There are low hits and standing still hits. Now, if the opponent is using a low hit, we need to press both the backward key and the duck key to block that hit, right? So I'm gonna give my hit object an extra variable, and it's gonna be low equals false by default, right? Now when we create a hit, so in this hit manager, if we are ducking, so where is it? Here. If we are ducking, we want to set the low here to true, okay? And it's gonna be false by default, right? Now when we collide with the hit, here it is. Before we take damage, we need to check if we are blocking it. Now how do we want check for that? Well, we're gonna do something like this. So if so we want to press the backward key. Now the backward key, we can easily grab it from here. Let me just character control, we already have that here, so let me grab it from the character control script and let's paste it here. So backward key, there it is. So if keyboard check pressed, or keyboard check, sorry, keyboard check backward key, okay, then here we can change the state to block, but not in all cases. If we're gonna check if the hit is low, because if the hit is low, then it's not enough to press only the backward key. So we're gonna check if other dot low, we're gonna say if keyboard check press, or sorry, if keyboard check, or we can do something like this: if duck, then state equals block, right? Pretty simple. And we can exit, and here we can do something like else. So if it's not low hit, it's enough to just like block it without pressing the without being ducked. Yep, that's pretty much it, and we need to exit. Pretty simple, right? And when we exit, this code won't execute, so we're not going to take any damage. Now we need to update our character control. So where it is, character control, so we're gonna add another state. Oops, sorry, one more thing here. We cannot block hits if we are in the air, right? So we need one more condition here, and it's gonna be and landed. Okay. All right. So let's get back to our character control. So character control. Now let's add our state. Now there's nothing special here with the block state. So our only condition to get back to the free state is if our animation has ended. So that's pretty simple thing. So we're gonna, you know, change this state back to the free state. So state free and break. All right. Oops. One more tiny thing here. We cannot block the hits if we are not in the free state. So there's one more condition here, which is gonna be state equals state free. Okay. All right. So sorry about that. Now we need to update our animation control. Okay. That's gonna be pretty simple actually. You should get the hang of it by now. So state block break. So we're gonna check if landed. Or you know what? Yeah, if landed, then we're gonna set sprite. So are we ducking? If so, we're gonna use the guard sprite SPR block, or what they call it, guard, can't remember. I don't think I even have these variables. Yeah, I don't have them yet. So let's get back to this later, okay? Find the sprite. Now I need to add some block sprites. Block sprites. I'm gonna pause the video and get back when I'm done. Alright, so now that we have our blocking sprite, so I have, as you can see, I have 3 blocking sprites for mid hit, high hit, and when we are ducking. Now we can't tell the difference between a high hit and a middle hit, so I'm just gonna use one of them without checking for any hit positioning. So it's gonna be pretty simple. Now let's get back to our animation control. So here we're gonna say if we are ducking, we're gonna play the block duck sprite. Otherwise, we're just gonna use the block middle attack. Alright, so let's run the game again and see if things are working fine. Alright, so let's pick our characters, get into the game, and let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna punch here without blocking. Okay, and you can clearly see that the HP is getting decreased, right? Now we don't really have a background for it, but at least it's decreasing properly. Now I'm gonna punch, and at the same time I'm gonna make this character go backward, and it's not working. Yep, it's not working. Let me see. Nope, it's not working. So let's see what's wrong. Okay, let's get back to our player. Keyword check backward key and landed, and state equals state free. Block if other dot low. Alright, so it appears that we cannot use exit here, because we're just gonna exit from this big if statement. So instead we're gonna do something like this. If state equals state block, then we want to oops, this ain't Python. Okay, exit. Now one thing that I noticed is that we're gonna need to in the character control script, when we are blocking, we want the HP to be 0, and that's if we are on the ground, right? So make sure to set the horizontal speed to 0. Not only that, but if we are ducking, we need to reset the animation index of that ducking sprite. So we're gonna sprite index equals sp duck and fix the image index. Oops. Yeah, that's about it. This is gonna be image number -1. All right. Okay, so let's run the game one more time. Hopefully it's gonna work. And by the way, if you want to have a background for your HP, then all you gotta do is duplicate this code right here, and oops, hold on, just a second. Okay, so let's pick the characters. Oops, I picked the same character. Doesn't matter. Okay, so taking a hit, my HP is decreasing. Now when I press, so I wanna use punches from this character, and I'm gonna block them from here. So you see, if I press the backward key, I'm gonna block the hits without taking any damage. Okay, so let's say if this character is ducking and I press the backward key, nothing's happening. I cannot block the hit because it's a low hit and I'm just getting backward. Alright, let's check if we are ducking and this character okay, so we can block the ducking hits easily. Okay, and same thing when we are standing still. So if you don't want to block this standing still, then you can get rid of it from the collision event. Just to make sure that if you're pressing the duck key and the hit is not low, then if you want to take damage, then all you gotta do is add that case to your if statement. But I think I'm gonna keep it. I think it's better. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna keep it. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly add the backgrounds for this health bar so it looks much better. Actually, we're gonna duplicate this code right here. Okay, paste it after this line, and we gotta change this to HP fill. Alright, and you can pick your background here. I'm gonna go with red maybe. Okay, so let's do the same thing here. So let's pick, duplicate this code, change this to red or whatever, any background color you want. Okay, and change this to HP fill. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is add special effects to our heads, like throw in the enemy. So let's go ahead and add some macros, and the macros that we're gonna be adding are for the head effects. So let's create another region here. So region and region. So head effects. So we're gonna create 3 macros here. So macro effect, just EFF none. So this is a no effect hit. Macro effect knock up. I'm just gonna go with K up. Actually no, I'm gonna type the whole thing. So knock up and macro effect knock back. Alright, so we have 2 effects here, or sorry, yeah, 2 effects and a no effect. So this is like a basic hit, doesn't do anything except damage. This is knock up hit, where if we are in the ground and we use a special hit, it's gonna knock up our opponent, and this is for knocking it backward. Alright, so let's take a look at our hit object. So you'll notice that by default it has an effect, which is none. Now we can change this to effect none, right? Now in the hit manager, so these are like basic hits, right? So by default we don't need to change anything here, because by default they won't have any effect, right? And actually we can change it from here, because this is gonna be let me just double check, the second parameter is in fact the effect. Okay, so that's cool. Let's get back to the hit manager now. So I don't have a hit that can knock up the opponent, but I'm gonna use the knock backward effect. So as you can see, this is the state where I want to throw my opponent, so I need to use a throw back effect, or throw backward effect. So the way that I'm gonna be doing it is I'm gonna check for the last index of this from this like array. So I'm gonna do something like if I equals array length indexes -1, then if it's the last one, then in this case I want to add the effect to the last hit. So I'm gonna do something like h.effect equals let's go with effect knock, where is it, knock back. Okay, so this hit, the last hit from this combo, is gonna have a knockback effect. Okay, so how are we gonna deal with it? Well, let's just go to our player here, and when we take damage, okay, when we take damage, we're also going to actually let's do it after we decrease the HP. We're gonna check for the effects, so we're gonna switch other.effect. So in the case that, oops, so we have like 3 cases here. So effect none, in this case we're not going to do anything, you know, there's nothing to do here. So we have a knock up effect, which again I don't have any damage sprite for this effect, so I'm gonna skip it for now. And we have a knock up effect break and let's add a default case here. We're not gonna do anything here, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so for the effect not, do nothing. Nothing's gonna happen here. In the knockup effect, well, we're just gonna maybe increase the vertical speed. So for example, we can do something like this, jump force, but I'm gonna skip this case for now. For the knock up, or sorry, this should be knockback. For the knockback effect, I want to throw the enemy forward or backward. Forward or backward. Okay. So, how are we gonna know that? Well, in order to throw the enemy backward or forward, well, we need to change the horizontal speed, right? So h speed equals, let's go with sprint speed times sine of image x scale times so you guys remember that we can access the owner of the hit from here, okay? Like this, we can do like the owner equals other dot owner, right? And we can also access the throw direction variable, okay? So now we can do something like this. If we're gonna change, or sorry, this should be direction, so I'm gonna name it D. So I'm gonna do something like D equals throw forward. What was the name of it? Throw forward, right? So if it was throw forward, we're just gonna choose 1 here, otherwise we're gonna choose -1. What that means is, so this is pretty simple, right? We're just changing the horizontal speed. Now if the throw direction is forward, then we're gonna multiply it by 1, which won't change the direction of it. However, if it is not throw forward, then that means we're throwing it backward. So we're gonna choose here -1, multiply it by this, which will invert the direction of it. Now we need to update our animation index, right? Animation script. Now how are we gonna tell if we're getting knocked out or not? So the player will need another effect here, or variable, sorry, and let's call it KO'd, like this. It's gonna be false. And let's, when we take a hit, or you know what, there's a better way to do it. I'm gonna call it let me think of a name, like damage state, and I'm gonna call it, we're gonna use the same macro, so I'm gonna be using none. Okay, now when we take so where's the switch statement? So in here I want to change the damage state to effect knock back, okay? And since we are here, we can do something like, here's damage state equals effect none, okay? Same thing here, damage state equals effect knock up. Alright, so now it's gonna be pretty simple to update our animation control. The only thing that we need to add in the character control, not animation control, is, so in the hurt state, if the animation has ended, we need to reset our damage in state. Okay, so damage state equals effect none. Okay, also with the animation, in the hurt state, we can do something like this. So if or we can do something, we can do a switch statement here. So switch damage state. Okay, so in case we have you know, no effect here, there's another case we have where we got knocked out, or knocked back, sorry. and the final thing is knock up. Again, I don't have any head that does this effect, but yeah. So I'm gonna copy this here. This is gonna be here in the normal state. You know, we just received a head, nothing special about it, so this is pretty simple. Now in the knockback state, I want to use a different, oops, sorry, I just hit my mic, that must be really loud, sorry about it. So in this knockback state, I want to choose my, so let me think about it, where is it? Hurt, KO. Yeah, so this is like getting knocked out. So yeah, so I'm gonna use this sprite right here. Okay, so I'm gonna add it to our animation control. Actually, let's finish our animation control here first. So set sprite so this is gonna be if landed. I'm gonna say set sprite sp let's call it KO, just like that. Okay, now we're just gonna skip this case. Skip, we don't have anything to do here for now, so the only thing that I need to do here is update or add a sprite here, SPR KO. It's gonna be SPR KO knockout heavy. Okay, let me duplicate this for the other characters. Here. So this is gonna be Ash. I think it's called KO in this case. Let's do the same thing for our last character. So this is gonna be Vanessa, and I think it's gonna be KO. Alright, actually let's just to make sure that they all have the same name. Yeah, we should be good now. Alright, but here is the thing. Oops, no. What's wrong? Save. Oh, please. Am I gonna lose my files? Alright, I think we're good. That was really scary. Sometimes the project's file get corrupted and GameMaker like deletes the entire project, so that was really scary. But okay, so I changed the name of this sprite. Now I need to do one last thing here, which is, so if we get knocked backward, I'm gonna need to change the direction of, let me just show you something first. So I'm gonna run the game just to have an idea of what's gonna happen. Alright, so let's take a look. Okay, I'm gonna pick my characters. Okay, so I'm gonna use the knock forward combo. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do, but okay, so let's see the knock forward or backward. That's quite the opposite actually. Let me yeah, we need to yeah, it's the opposite there. Yeah, and the horizontal speed is actually too much, so I'm gonna go with OJ player. So here we need to okay, so there's a better way to do it, so I'm gonna get rid of this. Alright, and I'm gonna Well, I think the sprint speed is too much, so I'm gonna use the walk speed instead. Okay, walk speed times the sine of image x scale. So we're gonna keep that, right? And I'm gonna do one more thing here, and that is if d equals throw backward, I want to invert the image x scale. Equals negative image x scale. Okay. Actually, if you think about it, this needs to be minus, right? Because we're throwing the enemy backward or forward, so like away from us. So this should be minus, I think. Okay. So let's make sure. I might even need to divide this by 2 if I don't know how is that gonna look, but let's try it out one more time. Okay. Alright, hopefully this is gonna work. So this is for throwing backward, right? Yep, that's about it. So let's try the throwing forward. Yeah. I have a problem with these characters, like hit index, so it looks, yeah, so you can see I'm creating the hit a little bit late. So I'm gonna like change it later, but I think it's working. Let's try this character. So yeah, so it is working. Let's do it for throwing forward. Yep, so it is working actually. Yeah, so yep, things are working pretty good, I would say. Yep, and you can see the background is working as well. So that was all for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace.